All right, guys. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to this training today. I'm super excited to be with you guys. There's a few people here today, which is awesome. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. Awesome. Great to have you. Some of you guys are already part of ABS, which is awesome as well. All right. Good to have you here, guys. We're just going to get started in a minute. We're just waiting for a few more people to come in. Today's topic is all about digital marketing, right? Number one is why digital marketing. We're going to look at it. What's the reason it is right time today to get started into this business? The second thing, we're going to talk about what are the hiccups, what are the problems we have when we get started in a marketing business or any sort of business, why people quit after 6 months to 1 year, why people don't sort of continue with it. So we're going to talk about that as well. So my intention for today is to give you all the information, tell you the stories, tell you why I've been doing it, tell you the reason why we started, what are we doing right now, and also give you a bit of a path if you decide to move forward. If you decide that, hey, this seems like a right thing for us, this seems like right thing for me and my family, how do I get started? So we can talk about this after this as well. But one more thing, there is nothing to buy here. What are you going to get at the entire thing is a full-on training, not selling anything to anybody. This is an educational place where you're just going to learn stuff. I'm going to share some stuff which I've been through, which I've gone through, and I've seen a lot of other people who are part of this community. They've gone through the similar challenges which I've done or I've gone through as well, right? So let's get started. I think it's a time now to talk through it. So let me start with the one big thing, right? So just very quick story. When I was, looking to start digital marketing, right? So when I was looking to start, I had some sort of criteria in mind that, hey, if I ever do a business, I want to do a business like this, right? So digital marketing wasn't the first one I chose. Digital marketing wasn't the first one I said, hey, this is the best one I'm going to go with. I've tried many different things before that, but somehow things just didn't work out and I just didn't make things happen. So I'll give you an example of this. So what I did is when I got started in this journey for the first time, right? So when I was looking for businesses or business ideas, or I want to work through something, I was going through a quadrant. So I created my own quadrant. I said, hey, okay, everything which I want to do going forward has to be meeting this criteria, not just random business. Don't just go out and buy some sort of franchisee. Don't just go out and invest money in some sort of business. Don't just open up something. But this criteria is the main thing. So I just want to walk you through that, see if that makes sense for you and your business and your family. See if you have the similar criteria as I had 7 years ago when I sort of was looking at it. So let me share my screen and we walk you through it, right? So see if that actually makes sense to you. And you kind of understand that what I've been through. So I want to walk you through that. So if you can see my iPad screen, let me know. So let me get started with it. So what I did is, I created this quadrant, which was pretty simple and straightforward quadrant. So give you a very quick backstory of this, right? So when I left my job for the first time, I started a software company. So that was the first startup which I did, which was a successful startup. Anything before that, I failed in 13 startups. None of them were successful. But when I started the software company, if you ever worked for somebody, if you ever worked for any companies, when you start a software company, for me was pretty much doing the same thing, what I was doing while working for somebody else, right? Meaning that I still have to travel to the city. I still had to do the same thing. I still have to interact with the teams exactly the way I did while working for somebody else. After 3, 4 months, I started to realize it. I'm putting in more hours by doing what I was doing earlier. And I'm not happy I always thought that, hey, working for myself going to be the best thing ever, right? Creating my own business, creating a software company is going to be the best thing ever. But that wasn't the case. I wasn't actually happy. So I had to sit down at the time, and I still remember it, having this conversation with my mentor at the time, and going through this cycle, going through this quadrant, and understanding it. What do I actually want from life, right? So because I was working full time, I was working in my own company, but that was a full time, 40, 50 hours a week. So I created this quadrant, and I'm sort of want to pass it on to you as well, see if that actually makes sense to you. So what I wanted is, one of the problems I had when I was working for somebody else, I didn't have much time, right? I just didn't have much time. So meaning that I always had a less time. The time was a problem because I was working 40, 50 hours, 40, 50 hours a week, with somebody else at somebody else's business, somebody else's work I was doing. So I didn't have much time for myself. So meaning that if anything which I wanted to start it or want to start should have something like I should have started with the less time, meaning that I didn't want to spend much time doing it. So something which I could start, which initial time investment was really low for me. And that was one of my criteria, because if that criteria wasn't there, because I just couldn't spend more time, I just didn't have enough time. I was working for somebody else, right? So if you working for somebody else at the moment, this is a perfect way to think it. How much time or extra time do you have during the week? Like, you have a family commitment, you have relationships, you have friends, you have a social life, but then you also have a work commitments, which is pretty legit because you're working for somebody else, right? But then also you have this entrepreneurial journey which you want to take on and say, hey, I want to start something on my own. But if you go and do something else which require 40 hours a week, you wouldn't be able to do it, right? So that's why one of my conditions was, hey, supposed to have a less time. I don't want to have it. The other condition which I had was must have low investment. Something which I want to do must have a low investment, because I wasn't ready to spend $700,000 buying a 7-Eleven, right? I wasn't going to spend buying any sort of franchisee. One of the biggest reasons for me was, hey, why would I want to buy another job, right? Because I don't know if you did it, but I did the same thing. I went around and spoken to all the franchisee people, wanted to buy Hungry Jack's, wanted to buy McDonald's, wanted to buy all those franchises. But they said to us exactly that, hey, 3 months or 5 months, you have to go to the US or go to one of the places and train like a franchisee. And you need to learn how to flip the burgers. You need to learn. I said, I don't want to learn. I just want to hire somebody else to do it for me. Why would I have to learn, right? But they said, no, this is not the way it's going to work, right? If you want to buy a Poto, if you want to buy a Nando's or any sort of franchise, you got to learn it, right? As a franchisee owner, that's your responsibility, that you learn the stuff, right? So it was like, nah, that's just not my thing. Just because I don't want to flip burgers by spending $700,000 and become an employee in my own business, right? That was just big no-no for me. So I said, nah, can't do that, right? Doesn't actually make sense, because you don't want to buy a job for yourself, right? So the other condition which I had as part of this was, I want to have something which is, something which I could actually sell. So something which I could take it to the market. Let me draw. So think of this as a dollar bill, right? So my bad handwriting, bad painting, or bad, drawings. But think of this as a dollar bill. I wanted to build something, a company or a business or any sort of stuff which I could sell it, right? It's a sellable asset. It's not just, I build it or work for somebody else, and after that, it's just nothing, right? So I wanted to build some sort of sellable asset. The other one, which was the most important thing for me, which was, I think, the number one criteria for anything, was work from anywhere. I didn't want to be bound to any building or the city or location. I could be just traveling or going anywhere. I want to work from that place, right? So I want to do that and all that. Number one thing which is out of that is, if you look at everything, all the criteria which I put in place, that seem pretty simple. They're not, super, anything which I wanted. I just wanted the simple stuff, meaning that I just wanted to work from anywhere. I wanted to have a low investments in any place. I could just start tomorrow, that kind of stuff. And also I wanted to have a less time investment, meaning that I don't want to go out and spend 8 hours a day at work first, then come home and then go out and spend 5-6 hours, doing something else. So, I just want to stay at home. I just want to do it for my study, but I wanted to stay at home. And I wanted to build something which is sellable, right? Let me know if that actually makes sense. If you had that sort of thought before, you sort of thought, hey, I want to build something like this. Have you decided similar to that? Have you done this sort of quadrant for your life, for your business, and say, hey, I want to start a business like this, or I want to do something like this? Type in yes if that makes sense. Type in yes if that actually makes sense. Does it actually make sense that, hey, I want to do something like this one day. I want to start something like this, right? You looked at it something like this, created something like this for your life, for your business, right? So for me, this was a very simple criteria that I wanted to follow. I'd say, hey, doesn't matter what happens, I just want to have this sort of simple criteria, right, in my life. So what happened after that was magical, right? For me was, I still remember that I was sitting at the airport, traveling to Perth for one of the meetings for a client, and I saw this book called The 4-Hour Work Week. 4-Hour Work Week, if you haven't read it, please go out and read it. It's by Tim Ferriss. And when I read that book, I was like, doesn't actually make sense. Can you actually do this sort of stuff? 4-Hour Work Week, live anywhere, escape 9 to 5, and join the new rich. That was his sub title of the book. I was like, that just doesn't make sense. How can somebody do this? I mean, if you lived and if you have been raised with the belief that you got to work 40 hours a week, you got to work for a company for pretty much the rest of your life, and you have to go to the university system, there is no less than 40 hours work week, right? So you all worked, or parents, if you look at it, uncles and aunties and everybody around us, look at it, they pretty much all worked 40-50 hours a week, or even more. Some of them worked like 3 jobs to make a living. So somebody comes and say, hey, work only 40 hours or 4 hours a week. That kind of doesn't make sense. You're like, oh, it is just super pathetic, right? It doesn't make sense. So I didn't believe that either. I was like, oh, that just doesn't make sense. But what I did is, because I was really into books, and I still am, I read a lot of books, and I picked up a book as, well, let's read it, right? Let's see what this guy has to say about it. I finished reading one time, I finished reading the second time, I finished reading third time. The more I read, the more it made sense to me. The more I read, the more it made sense to me. It was pretty logical. It was like, okay, this makes sense. Right? So which I'm going to explain it to you, why it makes sense and why we started it, and how that has been growing now day after day after day, and how we've been able to scale that just in this sitting at home, serving a lot of people globally at the moment. And it's not some sort of network marketing business where you can say, hey, Jag will supply you the stuff. You just have to sell it and get a commission out of that. That's nothing like that. It's just full on you, 100% you. You create a sellable asset. It is your stuff. You decide how you want to do it. It is everything's you, right? There is nothing me. The only thing I'm doing is guiding you through the path I've been through. And I know that it works because it worked for so many other people. And you're just learning the path. The only thing you're getting is step by step how to make it happen for you. But at the end, it is your sellable asset. It is your working from anywhere. It is your investment. It's your less time. The only thing I'm showing is you the path and the steps and the recipe and all that, right? So let's talk about this very quickly, right? So hope this makes sense, right? Hope you guys getting the point, because that whole thing, going out and buying franchisee, wasn't for me. And I'm hoping you are here. It's probably not for you as well, right? Because it just doesn't make sense to spend that much amount of money and buying something or buying a job for yourself, right? So let's look at it very quickly. What are the problems you're going to see? So because in the last many years, we have 600 plus people or 650 plus of people have gone through our programs and what I've done in the last few years. So served that many number of clients. I've seen different problems in different kind of people. What I'm going to talk about is the problem you're going to face if you're just getting started into this world, right? If you haven't started it, the problem you might face in the future, right? So let's get into it and let's look at it, how this looks like for you and for your business. So if you decide that, hey, this whole thing, what we talked about, this entire stuff, when I got started, the only way I could see that is getting met by digital marketing. Right? It was pretty low investment for us. The time was low, and I'm going to show you why. The time was low. The low investment was there is no money involved unless to learn it. Selling was, I've sold one business. I could sell this asset anytime I like to. Work from home, I could, I've been working from home from last 5 years now. Didn't have to travel anywhere. So it worked out really well so far. And I want to share with you how that happened step by step, and so that you can actually take away and say, hey, I want to do the same thing. And if you decide, then we can have a conversation, right? So let's look into it one by one or step by step, right? The problems as a new business owner. When somebody starts a business, this is a problem kind of everybody face. And we're going to talk about those problems. So let's look at it, number one problems, right? So let's... If you look at it, any business today, and when somebody's starting out, unless you bought a franchisee, I don't know much about the franchisee world other than you have to pay a lot of dollars. I don't know how that works. How do you get clients and all that sort of stuff? But any normal business, doesn't matter if you start an IT consulting, doesn't matter if you start building websites for somebody, franchisee, or any sort of business you start, there are three problems, right? And in this business, we also have the similar sort of stuff. We have three problems, right? So meaning that you have the same problem. And if you decide to become a digital marketer, your client's going to have the same problem as well, right? So that's the same sort of stuff they're going to have. So number one problem people face is they don't know how to get new clients. Right? That's just the number one problem for businesses, that, hey, I don't actually know how to get new clients. Number two problem everybody kind of faces, they're pretty... they kind of, because they have never done it, they have this weird feeling about selling. They have this negative emotion with the selling. Every time we talk about selling, they just feel that, hey, I don't know how to sell more, right? So the last one is a delivery. A lot of people believe that I need to learn something to deliver something, right? For example, if you want to start some sort of business, whether it's a website building or whether it's a building funnels or Facebook ads or any sort of business you want to start, what we've been told that I have to learn everything to deliver everything, right? So what most people do is, if they want to start a digital marketing agency, they spend a lot of time learning Facebook ads, learning funnels, or learning doing the website and stuff. So that makes it really hard to do the delivery. And I'm going to share with you how you can make it easy. But these are three problems people face, right? How to get new clients, how to convert those clients with ease, and how to do a delivery which is 100% delivered without you going through this learning cycle, meaning that you've got to learn funnels, you're going to learn Facebook ads and all that sort of stuff. How do you do that without becoming a marketing pro or becoming a technical pro, right? A lot of you guys might not be a technical experts, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And that's the intention. So let me know if that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense. Type in yes if actually that makes sense. All right. So type in yes if that actually makes sense. Type in yes. Cool. Awesome. All right. So I think what we're going to look at today is all about opposite to this, right? So how to get new clients, how to convert people, how to sell stuff with ease, and how to deliver without being technical and all that, right? So now let's look at it very quickly, right? What are the options, right? How do you do that? So if you want to get new clients, what most people do is when they start a business, the best way to do it is they just go and tell their friends and family, right? So When you tell your friends and family, some of them just feel that, hey, they need to buy something from you. They go out and just buy stuff from you. And after a month or 2 months or 3 months, nothing happens, right? Nothing happens. And then you are kind of running out of clients. But there has to be some sort of system in place to get you clients, right? The other one is sales, right? People feel really weird about sales. How do we sell with ease? What are the things we need to do so that the selling becomes part of the conversation? So selling becomes so easy that each time you have a conversation with somebody, that you have a steps in place which you can take it and bring it to people, and people just gets converted, right? Become your client and happy to pay you money. And also the delivery bits, right? So what are the things we make sure that we do it so that you don't spend 40 hours over and above of your job to deliver stuff for your clients if you manage to get the clients, right? So we're going to talk about that, right? So let's talk about this step by step, right? Number one is, in any business or any business when you get started, number one problem people have, how to get new clients, right? How to get new clients. Where do I get new clients from? I don't know anybody. I don't have, I've asked my friends, I've asked my family, I've asked my Facebook people. Now I don't know how to get clients. So here are the 3 things I want to talk about. Number one is, when you want to get new clients within ABS, I'm going to share ABS strategies here. We call this as a project strategy, right? When you want to get new clients, we talk about this project strategy. The project strategy is all about 3 components within that, right? Number one component is your market. Number 2 is your offer. And number 3 is your strategy. Right. This is the 3 components which you need to get started, to start getting new clients. So when you have or don't have a system in place to get new clients, what's missing is number one thing called the clarity, right? You do not have a clarity which market you serve, what's your offer, and also what's your strategy to get new clients. So these 3 things are the main and most important things to get new clients, right? If you don't have these 3 things sorted out, every time you want to get a new client, it's going to be hustle. It's going to be a hard work. It's going to be so much hard work that you'll be, you'll be doing the work, then you'll feel that something is missing and I don't know how to get new clients, right? I don't know if you have ever had that feeling that you spend time doing something, but at the end, when you realize you've done the work, you still feel that, hey, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but something is missing out of this. Right? I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm seems to be not getting the results. Something is missing. So in this case, when you talk about getting new clients, what's missing or what's a mismatch might be is you are not clear about your niche market, or I call it a market, that who you want to serve. Right? You are not clear on the offer you're selling to them, and you're not clear on the strategy you are using to take that offer to the market, right? Everything is in this is a very important. If there is one of the things which is not available or a mismatch, it's not going to work, right? It's not going to work. So 3 things has to be there and they has to match. So you have to be super clear. So what are we looking for from this entire thing? Let me sort of tell. So, oh gee, what happened here? So what are we looking for? The entire thing is a clarity. That's what we're looking for. In the entire section, we're looking for clarity. Clarity about your market, clarity about your offer, and a clarity about your strategy. Strategy is the way you're going to take that offer to the market, right? That's what we're looking for. If you don't have or any of the thing missing, this is not going to work. So market, offer, strategy. This is what we're looking for when we talk about getting new clients, right? Now let's talk about sales. So here's a question for you, right? Here's a question for you. Who feels that the hardest job to do any sort of business is the sales part? Who believes that? Type in yes if you believe that. Sales part is the hardest part. Do you believe that? Do you have this, hey, I just don't know how to convert people. Hey, I don't know how to make people buy stuff from me. If you believe the sales part is the hardest part for you and your business today? Type in yes. Let me know if sales part is the hardest part, because I want to pass on something to you guys. If you leave from today, you'll be like, holy crap, this is very different. So I want to talk about something which we've been using at ABS. We call it a spiritual selling, right? So sales is very important for any business, right? Doesn't matter what you talk about, your product and service has kind of no meaning until it's been sold to somebody, right? You can talk about it, your product or your service is the best service today, but unless it's been sold, there has no meaning, right? So you can say your coaching, you can say your website building is the best, or you build the best websites. Until somebody's ready to buy from you, it's not there yet, right? So selling is one of the most important part in this. And a lot of people, when they get started in the business world, they feel kind of really hard to sell. The selling is one of the hardest part for any new entrepreneur, unless they come from a selling background, which most people are not. If they are, then it's awesome. But if you're not, then selling probably the hardest bit for most of the people. What I want to do is I want to share a 3-step process with you guys, and we call it a spiritual selling. You can name it whatever you like, but this is what it is, and this is how it happens, right? What's better? Amanda, I don't know. Let's talk about this later. Can't answer that at the moment. Look, what's better? Let's talk about the selling first, and let's go through these steps first, right? So in the selling world, one of the things what we need to look at it when we talk about spiritual selling, the 3 parts of that, right? Number one part, let's change the color and talk about this spiritual selling. Right. Within the spiritual selling, number one, if you look at it, is your energy. That's number one part. Number 2 part is your perception. Number 3 of that is your language. And I'm going to explain one by one what does actually mean. So when we talk about selling, most people look at the selling as what happens, what you say in the meeting, and what happens, what you say after the meeting. Meaning that they only look at it 2 aspects of selling. Hey, I need a script to sell. Hey, how do I offer at the end? And how do I convert people at the end, right? So what it means is we only look at the language, what we're going to say by using a very or specific some sort of script. And every industry has been given some sort of script. And people use that script to try to convert people. So if I look at it, let me draw the entire thing. It's a 9-column process. I won't go through the entire process, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk through the, step by step. So what if language is the last one? What most people do is they only look at this part and this part, right? These 2 parts. This is the during part. This is the during the meeting, and this is the after the meeting. So during the meeting, they use very specific wording. They talk about all these language patterns to convert people. After the meeting is very simple that, hey, how do I ask them to buy from me, right? So that's a very specific language pattern we use, right? But what happens is, if you look at the entire box, there are 9 boxes at the moment. What most people don't do it in their world is they don't cater for these 9 or these rest of the other boxes. And that's where the spiritual selling comes in place, what we talk about, right? So meaning that you have 7 other boxes which you need to cater for. If you follow a traditional selling method or any sales trainings or anywhere you walk in, they will sort of teach you exactly step by step, hey, how do I talk to people? What are the things I need to do to become that? It's like exactly any of the Zig Ziglar's CDs you listen to, they'll talk about this, right? So this is how you say it, pick up a phone, and this is how you say it, right? So that works, absolutely. I'm not saying anything wrong with that, but the only thing is it's only 2 part of that. The reason spiritual selling works the best is because there are other things which are not part of that. So if a meeting has, before, during, and after part. This is before the meeting, this is during the meeting, and this is after the meeting. And the language, sorry, the first one is energy, and the second one is perception. There is a before the meeting perception, there is a during the meeting perception, and there is a after the meeting perception. There is energy which you bring it to the table, meaning that the way you feel yourself, there is a before the meeting energy, there is a during the meeting energy, there is after the meeting energy, right? These are three things for that and the perception, and there is a before language as well. So spiritual selling is something like that. If you have in place, then you pretty much don't have to convert people like the traditional selling is. People trying to convert people with the language patterns, all that is only like 10% of the work. If 90% of the work, you do it before that, is absolutely amazing. So that's what we talk about at ABS, that, hey, you don't need to learn all those scripts. The only thing you need to learn is a framework, yes, but you don't need to learn a script, because the way I speak is completely different from anybody else. The way you're going to speak, or the way you're going to convert, the way you're going to have a conversation with people is completely different from someone else. So we want to make sure that you don't just become a robot and follow a script to sell person. And that's why a lot of startup people, when you're starting out and they haven't made the money yet, or like 10, 20, 15 grand a month, they only concentrate on the language patterns, or they only concentrate on the two aspect, which is before the meeting, during the meeting and after the meeting, right? So hope this makes sense, because energy, what you bring it to the table, perception, how do you see the world at the time, or how do you see this, and the language is the story or the way you're speaking to yourself and anything. There is a dialogue going on all the time. If you haven't figured that out yet, there's somebody else is speaking in your head. That's the one, right? If somebody's speaking right now in your head, I'm talking about that person. Yeah, so that one. Right. So there's a language going on all the time, whether it's an internal conversation or whether it's an external conversation. Right. So now let's talk about delivery. Right. One of the biggest problem, and I've seen it so many times, and I want to make sure that you don't make that mistake. Right. We want to do 100% delivery without wasting your time, or without you going out and trying to learn stuff. Right. So most people, what they do is, if they have to become a digital marketer, somebody tells them, hey, you got to go and learn Facebook ads. Now they're spending 3 months learning Facebook ads. Somebody tells them, hey, you're going to be a funnel expert. They're spending 3 months learning the funnels. Now somebody else comes in, hey, email is the best thing. Or better than that one, hey, you become a chat expert, learning ManyChat or something else. Now they're spending 3 more months learning ManyChat. Then after 3 or 9 months gone, they realize that there is no clients, there is no money coming into the bank account. The only thing they've done is learn, and they haven't done anything, right? So they haven't made the money they wanted to make. So that's one of the biggest mistakes people make. They believe that they need to learn the skill set to do the delivery. They believe that I need to learn stuff to do the delivery, right? So I want to share something with you, a very, very quick story. I hope you guys understand, Richard Branson, right? You know that Richard Branson, you read about Richard Branson. So Richard Branson is pretty cool. I've read pretty much all of his books. And in the first book, what he talked about, Losing My Virginity, he talks about how he got started in the business world. And then after that, how he started with the publishing the magazine student magazine at the university, then starting the Virgin Airlines, then starting a lot of other ventures after that. So one of the things he talks about it quite a lot is, and this has been his best mantra for success. He says, hey, one of the things which I learned is a long time ago, that I want to work with people, or want to hire people who are better than me rather than me doing it. So when he started the Virgin Airlines, he rented the plane from Boeing, and he went to Bank of London and asked for the loan because he had the Boeing plane. So bank gave him the loan. So all that happened is he ended up starting the airline. So let's look at the example compared to anybody else out there, right? So if you are replacing, so think of that from your perspective, right? If you were a Richard Branson at the time who wanted to start an airline or any work, what normal people would have done, they would have gone out and said, hey, I need to learn how to become a pilot first, right? I need to fly the plane first. I need to learn how to fly a plane because I'm going to open up an airline company, right? The second thing they might have thought, hey, I don't want to become a pilot, but I need to understand how to fix the plane if something goes wrong, right? You might find this really weird. Hey, I wouldn't do it, but everybody doing that in their business right now today, right? For example, if you open up a digital marketing company or anything, right, or mechanic shop somewhere where you fix stuff for people, you wouldn't touch that unless you are a mechanic, right? You know that, right? People only want to open up a businesses which they feel that they're good at. If you are a digital marketer, you are starting a digital marketing company, or you want to start a digital marketing agency, most of the time, most people ended up spending a lot of time doing learning stuff, right? They want to learn funnels, they want to learn Facebook, they want to learn all that. So learn from Richard Branson, right? So hire the right people. And I want to talk about this today, right? So what we said early on, one of the condition was, hey, I want to spend less time, right? I have less time, right? 40 hours, I'm working for somebody else. How do I create a business by working 2 to 3 hours a week and doing stuff? So if you have a delivery to do for somebody else, then you'll be the entire week, you'll be doing funnels or Facebook ads for other people, right? That's not how we do it at ABS, right? One of the biggest mantra for us and the success I had is not by spending time learning, doing Google ads or Facebook ads and all that. I still know how to do it. I still guide people how to do it. I still do it because I like it, but I don't have to do it because I've got a team of people who do the work, right? So what it means is, if you want to do 100% delivery, you outsource to other people to do the work, right? When you're making money, then you can actually give chunk of that money to other people to do the delivery, right? Without you being, and we call them virtual assistants. They are based in Philippines. They are based in other part of the world, exactly the way we talked about in the 4-Hour Work Week, the book, right? You have those people who work different hours than you do the delivery at nighttime, and the work gets done, and you have that available for you, right? So meaning that you do 100% delivery without being a technical expert or without being a marketing expert, without being all that, but you get the delivery done. Because if you don't know how to edit the video, you don't need to learn how to edit the video for a client, right? You can hire somebody else who does the video, right? So I've got a perfect example of this. I've got 2 students at the moment, part of the ABS. When they got started, the first one, when he got started, worked in some other program for a year and a half and tried to learn Facebook ads, tried to learn funnels, and tried to learn so much stuff. And he spent so many months and years trying to learn all that, but didn't make a single dollar. Nothing. Spent so much money on Facebook ads trying to get clients for his business, right? Nothing worked. So by just coming to ABS, by just applying what I'm sort of showing you exactly step by step, meaning that how to get new clients, how to sell your language pattern, exactly using the spiritual selling pattern, and then doing the delivery, not by himself, by hiring other people. So at the moment, he's got like 7 or 8 contractors working with him to do the delivery. He's still doing the full-time work, right? His job is still there. But as a part-time, he's building that asset, which is working out really well for him, right? Working out really well for me. So hope this makes sense. Are you hoping you guys getting it? So if your goal is to make 10 to 15K a month by working 2 to 3 hours a week, and you want to make sure that you have a system in place which gets you new clients, which where you can sell with ease without becoming a sales expert, and also the delivery gets done on time with 100% accuracy and 100% with you doing the work, then this is the method what we use within the digital marketing world, within the ABS world, that to help people take their businesses to 10, 15 grand a month, right? That's the goal. That's what we want to do. And that's what we want to help people get to, so that they can get to leave their full-time job and come into this world as a full-time entrepreneur, right? I know you're part-time at the moment because you might have a job somewhere. You're doing something else at the moment. But this is the 3 things you need to fix. Number 1 fix you must have is learn a system how to get new clients. Number 2 is you must have a system to sell with ease, right? You don't want to become an old car salesperson. Number 3 is do the delivery without you being the technical expert or the marketing expert or some sort of a tool expert, like, Facebook expert or some sort of tool expert. So that's what we want to do in this 3-step process, right? Does it make sense? Type in yes if it actually makes sense. Type in yes if that actually makes sense. So my intention is to show you exactly what's missing and what you need, right? So if you ask me today, what are the 3 things you must have in place for you to be successful in this world, for you to leave your job and for you to become good at what you're doing? Number 1 thing you must have, and this is a perfectly, honest thing to say that, hey, number 1 thing you must need is somebody to mentor you. When I got started in this world for the first time, I ended up hiring Mr. Frank Kern for the first time, right? I wouldn't have been able to do what I'm doing today without Frank Kern, right? That's just not possible. You need a mentor who's actually guiding you step by step, helping you to get into that place, right? Without you, what's going to happen? There are 2 methods you can make things happen for you, right? You can do a trial and error. Go out and do it. Probably the only thing happening is there's nothing wrong in that. It's just going to be next 5 to 10 years process where you're going to learn yourself and apply it, learn it, apply it, learn it, apply it, right? The other thing you can do is ask people who has done it and they can give you the advice, right? One of the best thing, I think I mentioned that earlier as well when we got started, that I failed in 13 startups, right? I failed in 13 startups. The only reason I became or managed to sell a software company is because I went to Mr. Tony Robbins' event called Unleash the Power Within, or UPW, for the first time in 2015. And when I went there for the first time, he said this one thing which changed the entire landscape of my belief system, that, hey, you don't need to do, or, success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. So meaning that you don't need to do trial and error. You can just go out and ask people for help and they can help you, right? But now think of this. It might seem simple to you today, but I come from a university background, right? I come from a system background where I've been taught that asking for help is big no-no. Meaning that if I look at your work, if I look at somebody else's work, if I, don't do my thing by myself, it's called plagiarism, right? I can't steal or look at other people's work. It's just completely very, very different world in the university system. You can't look at other people's work. It's a plagiarism, right? But business doesn't work this way. Business is a collaboration game, right? Business is togetherness. Business is we all kind of work together. You can't just say, hey, I'm just going to do everything by myself, right? You need teams, you need people, you need systems, you need mentors, you need all those sort of people to help you get to the next level. But if you come from a university system, this might be completely different for the way I'm saying it, right? So that's what happened to me. Tony Robbins changed everything. The moment he said that, I was like, that's probably the key for me. So the only thing I did is gone out of that event, ended up hiring somebody to help us, which made a biggest difference ever, right? If I hadn't done that, I would still be, doing the trial and error, which I did that for many, many years before that. So you need somebody who could actually help you. Number 2 is you need a community of people, right? you can't do things alone, right? You are at the moment probably be around people who are not in the similar path of what you're trying to do. Like, for example, if you're trying to start a business and you stay around with employees, the only thing you're going to become is talk about your employer, talk about the bad stuff the government is doing, all that. You need a community of like-minded people. Like, community of like-minded people, I reckon is the biggest key, because when you're part of any community where everybody is on the same path, everybody's doing the same thing, everybody's failing, everybody's trying same thing, everybody's putting the ad copies, everybody's doing the same stuff. They're putting the websites, somebody's done the work, they're looking at it. They was like, oh, they're asking each other for reviews. They're having or jumping on the phone call together and saying, hey, this is what I did. What did you do? So they become a friend. So you need a like-minded community, because if the like-minded community is not there and you're going to go back home and speak to the people or the old friends who are in a different mindset than you are, the only thing they're going to do is drag you back into the same wall, right? So you need a like-minded community. If the like-minded community is not there, then it's just going to be really, really hard. It's going to be like you're going to try and then you're going to come back. You're going to try, then you're going to come back to the same thing. I don't know if you had that same stuff. Like, you try starting a business, then it doesn't work, then you go back to the same thing again, right? It's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's the way it's going to happen, right? And the last one is you need a strategy. You need a strategy which works, right? So what it means is you need a step-by-step how to do certain things. You need a guide, you need a step-by-step information, step-by-step somebody to show you exactly how it's going to happen, right? Meaning that you need a proven system which somebody can say, hey, take this system and apply that in your life, in your business, then this is how it's going to work, right? So you need that in your business. So initially, if any of these three things are missing, you will, I won't say never, but it's going to be the hardest thing you will ever do, try to leave your job and starting a business, right? So if you are one of those people who are looking to get started, who want to start some sort of business or starting a digital, from my perspective, I'm a biased and I'm going to talk about digital marketing because it kind of meets all this criteria, right? Has got a less time. You don't have to spend much time. Has got a very low investment to get started. Also, you can sell it, right? Sell it to anybody, build an asset, build a company like that, and you can work from anywhere, right? So depending what you want to do, whether you want to build an asset to sell or whether you want to create a business, which is a lifestyle business, but you decide. From my perspective, I'm creating a lifestyle business, right? This is what I do as a lifestyle business. So you can actually do that, right? If these three things are missing, it's going to be really hard, meaning that if you don't have a right mentors to guide you, it's going to be different, right? So the reason I say the mentors is because somebody who has walked on the path. There's a lot of people out there with the information, and they can give you the information. But the biggest problem is they have never walked on the path. They have never done anything like that. Right? We've been running our agency from last 5 years now, taken to 800K plus within 10 months when we started this agency, following the same method, which I talk about. I wrote a book about it as well called the Fast Growth Method. Exactly the same thing, right? Where did I get it from? I didn't invent it. I learned it from somebody. I learned it from Mr. Frank Kern, right? I learned from somebody else. So I didn't actually make it up. So I had a mentor who guided me to make it happen. Otherwise, my agency would still be doing $40,000, $50,000 up per annum, not a month. We had a community of people, right? So I needed that. I had a community of people. Now, what I'm doing today is building this community of ABS people, which is Agency Business School, where everybody is on the same path, doing the same thing. If you come along, look at that inside the ABS platform, you get to see that. Like, everybody is there trying to help each other, building each other, trying to make everybody's like, they are on the same path. Then the strategies. This is one of the things which I'm super proud of, that you will never run off a strategy within ABS, because depending what you like to do, some people like doing Facebook ads. You can do Facebook ads. Some people like doing without spending money. They want to do cold outreach using email. You can do that as well. Some people like doing chat. They want to get clients through chat. You can do that as well, meaning we'll teach you exactly how to hire a virtual assistant who can chat on your behalf by giving you standard operating procedures, which you can just pass it on to your virtual assistant to do that on your behalf. So you work for somebody else during the day and your virtual assistant is chatting with somebody else on your behalf, trying to convert them. Right? Step by step, exactly how to do it. You want to do on LinkedIn, go out and do it on LinkedIn. So meaning that all these steps, getting new clients, you can use any of the strategy from our side to apply in your business, whether you want to do a cold outreach without spending $1 on ads, or whether you want to hire somebody else to do a step-by-step for you, you can do that as well, right? So you decide how you want to do it, right? So all right, I'm going to pause for 30 seconds, right? So any questions on this so far? Does it actually make sense? Any questions? So Amanda, let me answer your question now. What's better, one fishing rod with few hooks or several fishing rods with a single hook? I don't understand this analogy. Is it something to do with marketing, or you just, what's the, are we talking about marketing here or something else, right? So can you repeat that question, please? I don't understand that. Right. Any questions? Any questions on this? All right. So this is what I want to do, guys. If this is the last thing I want to talk about before I leave, if any of you guys would like access to, you spend a bit of time with me, you want to learn more, I know you've been here. So because you've been here, I want to give you free access to our New Clients Challenge, which is a 7-day New Clients Challenge at no cost to you. So if you're one of those people who would love to get started at no cost, and you want to just 7 days, get on board, get new clients, and at least get the ball rolling for your business, and talk about new clients and the project strategy, how that works step by step, sharing with you, find your market, sharing with you how to create an offer, sharing with you how to do a strategy for yourself. And I will share one of the strategies in that program called the 7-day New Clients Challenge, right? If you want access to that, we accepting applications right now. It's a free program for 7 days where you're going to go out and just do the work, right? Follow the instructions, do the work, and get onboarded some of the clients, right? If you want access to that, type in yes below, and I'll send you the link, and so you can apply it and then do the work, right? Follow the instruction. It has nothing to do or no cost to you. This is my free gift for you guys being here with me and listening to me from last 60 minutes, right? So I will give you the access to that. All right, Amanda, let me send it to you, and let me send it to, give me 30 seconds. I'll send it to you, and it's called the New Clients Challenge. And the URL is very different and very difficult as well, but it's called New Clients Challenge. That's the URL as well, which is pretty same, right? So, all right. So here's the New Clients Challenge. Amanda is coming through. If you want to do it, apply for this, follow the instruction, follow the steps, and get into it. Get started in this process. Launch your business, or if you already launched, get new clients in 7 days without the paid ads and sales funnels. All right, guys. That's it from my side. Hope you enjoyed today's session, understood a bit more about how we do it within ABS, how we can actually help you. If you want to get started in the New Clients Challenge, want to get access, apply to it. Awesome having you guys here, and have fun. Enjoy your afternoon, night, wherever you are. And that's it from my side. Thank you. See you guys later.